Hi, welcome to Movies Moment. Today we are going to explain a movie called Poor Things. Spoilers ahead. Subscribe if you like this and catch us on the next one. Take care.
The film begins with Bella Baxter, portrayed by Emma Stone, an innocent young woman brimming with curiosity. Resurrected by Dr. Godwin Baxter, played by Willem Dafoe. Through an experimental procedure, Bella's mind remains childlike in an adult's body, a rebirth that strips away societal preconceptions. This unique position allows her to question and critique the gender roles and oppressive structures around her. Dr. Godwin himself is a fascinating, eccentric scientist whose ambitious and unorthodox methods echo iconic literary figures like Dr. Frankenstein. Dr. Godwin is assisted by his protege, Max McCandles, portrayed by Rami Youssef, who becomes deeply involved in the doctor's project. Initially introduced to Bella under the guise of scientific curiosity, Max finds himself drawn to her unique personality and rapid intellectual growth. Observing Bella's innocence, Max one day curiously asks about her background, but Dr. Godwin avoids the question, deeming it irrelevant to Max's role. Meanwhile, Bella's curiosity about the outside world grows, though Dr. Godwin restricts her access, believing he has created a perfectly safe and engaging world within his walls. After one of Bella's impassioned outbursts, he reluctantly agrees to let her explore, briefly taking her and Max outside. However, he warns her sternly about the dangers beyond his control. In time, Max uncovers a hidden file detailing Dr. Godwin's experiment with Bella. Contrary to what Dr. Godwin told her, that she was an orphan whose parents died in a South American landslide, Bella was a woman he had found after a tragic incident. Pregnant and despondent, Bella had thrown herself from a bridge, ending her life. Driven by his desire for recognition, Dr. Godwin conducted an extraordinary experiment, transplanting the brain of Bella's unborn child into her reanimated body. As he observes Bella's interactions with Max, Dr. Godwin notices a romantic tension building between them, which eventually leads to Max proposing to Bella. In the following scene, Duncan Wedderburn, portrayed by Mark Ruffalo, is introduced. He is a hedonistic, self-serving lawyer, captivated by Bella's innocence and unique perspective. One night, he tells Bella he's going to Lisbon and invites her to come along. Though initially planning to keep this a secret, Bella excitedly tells Dr. Godwin she's running away with Duncan. Dr. Godwin is visibly opposed to the idea of Bella leaving his care, but she eventually convinces him that she wants a chance to experience adventure with Duncan before settling down to marry Max. When Max hears about Bella's departure, he tries to dissuade her, reminding her of their planned marriage and his love for her. But Bella, eager to discover life beyond her sheltered world, refuses to listen to his pleas. Dr. Godwin, seeing her determination, ultimately supports her decision and even gives her some pocket money for the journey. Bella's once black and white life bursts into color as her adventure in the outside world begins. Trusting Duncan without fully knowing who he is, she follows him eagerly, doing whatever pleases him. In Lisbon, Bella begins to explore independently, savoring new foods, being enchanted by the music, and marveling at the scenery. She even writes to Dr. Godwin and Max, reassuring them that she's doing well. One evening, after returning from a day of exploration and feeling hungry for dinner, Bella is approached by a woman who calls her Victoria Blessington. Though Bella doesn't recognize her, the woman seems to know Bella well, remarking that it's been a long time since they last met. As part of her exploration, Bella even learns how to dance. But her evening with Duncan takes a sour turn when Duncan ends up in a fight with people who try to intrude on Bella's small adventures. Upset by his reaction, Bella grows angry at him. Later that night, Duncan also becomes furious when he realizes another man has taken advantage of her innocence. Although frustrated, he cannot bring himself to act harshly toward her, so he simply breaks down, feeling hurt that Bella is experiencing life without him, even though he was the one who first encouraged her to discover the world. Meanwhile, during his lecture, Dr. Godwin collapses, clearly not in the best health. This scene hints at Dr. Godwin's unspoken longing for Bella, though he insists he is a man of science and tries to keep himself detached from his own creation. Determined to continue his work, he shares with Max his eagerness to find a new body, revealing his ambition to embark on another experiment like the one he performed with Bella. The next scene shifts back to Bella, who has just woken up. Duncan greets her with a large chest that could easily fit a person. Without understanding its purpose, Bella climbs inside, and soon finds herself aboard a boat, realizing they've left Lisbon behind. Duncan reveals that being on the ship makes it easier for him to keep track of her, as she has nowhere else to go, effectively trapping Bella at sea. Frustrated by the confinement, Bella initially isolates herself from Duncan in the bathroom before eventually wandering around the ship and even sleeping under the open sky to enjoy her freedom. During her exploration, Bella befriends two passengers, Martha and Harry, who become her companions throughout the voyage. They provide her with new perspectives and experiences, adding more color to her journey. Meanwhile, Duncan finds himself falling for Bella and impulsively proposes marriage, admitting she has captured his heart. Bella, however, turns him down, reminding him that she's engaged to Max. This revelation shocks Duncan, who had no idea about her engagement all this time. Bella explains that her time with him was only meant for fun and exploration, not love or commitment. Heartbroken, Duncan retreats to the ship's casino, drowning his disappointment in gambling as a way to cope. Dr. Godwin's latest experiment appears to be another success, as he reveals a second grown woman with a childlike demeanor, whom he names Felicity. Meanwhile, on her journey aboard the ship, Bella becomes increasingly fascinated by people and society, delving into books on philosophy that discuss ways to improve the world. Her curiosity about humanity's potential grows, but Harry disagrees with her idealistic views on progress through philosophy. Seeking to ground her perspective, Harry bluntly explains that people are, at their core, cruel beasts, dismissing her newfound ideas about improvement as naive. As Duncan returns to Bella, he quickly notices subtle changes in her. She's begun to lose some of the traits he once associated with her innocence, including the unique way she used to speak. Bella's growth and shifting worldview unsettle Duncan, making him realize just how much she has changed since their journey began. One night, Bella confides in Harry, expressing her determination to improve herself in hopes of one day changing the world. Harry, however, disagrees and is intent on showing her the harsher realities of life. When their ship makes a brief stop in Alexandria, he seizes the opportunity to give her a glimpse of the world he believes she's overlooking. As they look out over the impoverished areas, Bella is deeply moved, crying out of a desire to help those suffering below. However, Harry cautions her, explaining that going down there could put them at risk. They might be robbed, roped in, or worse. Bella is desperate to help, not being fully aware of her own limitations. Thankfully, Harry is there to hold her back, stopping her before she acts on impulse. Bella returns to her and Duncan's cabin, still breathless from her experience in Alexandria. She notices a pile of money scattered around Duncan's sleeping form, his winnings from gambling in the ship's casino. Without fully understanding the implications, Bella gathers the money and places it in a chest, determined to help the poor people she saw earlier. However, as the ship prepares to depart, she realizes it's too late to return and give the money herself. Two crew members approach, assuring her they will deliver it on her behalf. Trusting them easily, Bella hands over the chest without hesitation. Back in the cabin, Duncan wakes and notices his money is gone. He is angry, thinking that his money is stolen from him. But Bella explains what she did. Duncan became more upset, pointing out that it was their only remaining money. Despite realizing the impact of her actions, Bella stands by her decision to help the poor with Duncan's money. Duncan, disappointed, reminds her they now have nothing. As their journey on the ship comes to an end, Bella bids farewell to Harry, grateful for his friendship and the lessons he taught her. With a new adventure awaiting in Paris, she feels a mix of excitement and uncertainty. However, both Bella and Duncan find themselves without any funds, unsure of where to go next or how they will navigate this next chapter. Determined to secure a hotel room for herself and Duncan, Bella knows she needs to earn money first. She encounters an old woman named Madame Swiney, who runs a brothel and offers Bella guidance on how to make money. Despite her lack of experience and the unsettling idea of providing sexual services, Bella is intrigued and decides to work there for once. After her first experience, Bella uses the money to buy food for herself and Duncan. However, when Duncan discovers how she earned the money, he reacts with disgust, throwing the food back at her and calling her a whore and a monster. His anger erupts, and it becomes clear that their adventure is nearing its end. Bella resolves to book a passage for Duncan back to London, showing him the money Dr. Godwin had given her earlier. Duncan, unaware that she had her own funds all along, is filled with rage. In a fit of anger, he takes all of Bella's money, leaving her with nothing and choosing to part ways. Bella returns to Madame Swiney, seeking employment after finding herself alone and broke. This job becomes a pivotal moment in Bella's journey towards self-empowerment. Working at the brothel not only allows her to explore her sexuality on her own terms, but also opens doors for her to connect with other women in similar circumstances. She discovers a sense of solidarity and mutual support among her co-workers, which helps her navigate the complexities of her new environment. During her time there, Bella forms a close friendship with Toinette, a fellow sex worker who shares her ideals and dreams of a better world. Together, they bond over their aspirations and the challenges they face, fostering a sense of camaraderie that deepens Bella's understanding of herself and her place in the world. This newfound connection empowers her, reinforcing her belief that she can carve her own path, despite societal judgments. Dr. Godwin falls ill and asks Max to find Bella. Max seeks out Duncan, who is now in prison. Instead of providing information about Bella's whereabouts, Duncan vents his anger, blaming her for his downfall and expressing how she has destroyed him. Soon after, Bella receives a letter informing her of Dr. Godwin's condition, prompting her to return home. When they finally reunite, Bella is eager to understand what happened to her. As she reads through the file Dr. Godwin prepared detailing the process of his experiments on her, the pieces of her past begin to fall into place. She confronts Max, accusing him of withholding crucial information that she had a right to know. Bella also discovers Felicity, another woman who underwent similar experiments and shares her unique circumstances. Overwhelmed with emotions, she takes time for herself to process her feelings, even visiting the bridge where Dr. Godwin first found her. There, she begins to embrace the truth of her life, accepting everything Dr. Godwin did to her, recognizing that he ultimately provided her with a sense of home and belonging. Bella reconciles with Max, and their wedding is set to take place. However, on their wedding day, Duncan and a newcomer named Alfie Blessington crash the ceremony. Alfie claims to be Bella's husband, revealing that her real name is Victoria. This revelation explains why a random woman had once called her by that name. It was her true identity before Dr. Godwin's experiments altered her life. Alfie recounts that Victoria had left in a state of mental confusion and hysteria due to her pregnancy. Intrigued and eager to learn more about her past, Bella decides to accompany Alfie, compelled by the need to understand the woman she once was and the life she left behind. As Bella returns home with Alfie, she begins to piece together the life she once led. She realizes that Victoria had been a prisoner, both physically and emotionally, trapped in a world dictated by her husband. Alfie's self-serving nature becomes increasingly apparent to her. He is a man motivated by his own desires, more concerned with his own narrative than with the well-being of the woman he claims to love. One morning, Bella overhears Alfie and a doctor discussing plans for her. Alarmed, she retreats to her room to devise an escape. Eager to see Dr. Godwin, Bella tells Alfie she wants to leave, but he marks her as his territory and refuses to let her go. When she asserts that she is no longer his wife, Alfie, unconvinced, points a gun at her. Bella stands her ground, and the gun fires at his feet, leaving him unable to walk. Bella returns home with Alfie, urgently seeking Max for surgery. Alfie has lost a significant amount of blood, and there's a chance he might die. Bella, however, seems unwilling to let that happen, as she has other plans for him. As they prepare for the procedure, Bella and Max contemplate making Alfie one of their experiments, considering the potential for transformation and redemption in light of his troubled past. Dr. Godwin Baxter dies peacefully with Bella and Max at his side, leaving Bella determined to carry on his work. With Max's support and Toinette's assistance, she begins building on Godwin's legacy of scientific exploration. Meanwhile, Felicity's intelligence continues to develop, reflecting Bella's commitment to pushing forward the ideals of progress and autonomy that shaped her own journey.